Good to be back, my friends. Hope everyone had a great week. Happy Friday, and welcome back to another Dividend Happy Hour. What a week it has been, guys. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. Welcome to, what is this, episode 111, I think. We're starting to get up there with those episodes, but I am so stoked to be back with you guys for another live stream. I really missed last week, but thankfully, Russ was able to jump in and take over the usual time slot. So you guys did have a live stream to tune into, but I missed you guys. And like I said, I'm back. I'm I'm happy to be back tonight on the Dividend Happy Hour. As you can see, we're in a new spot. I'm sure a lot of you guys already saw the video or saw the news at least. But yeah, my wife and I bought a home. We officially closed on it a week ago. So we've now been in the place. We've had keys for it for a week. And so this whole last week has just been moving from Friday to probably like Tuesday or Wednesday. It was just pretty much all moving stuff. Really like to yesterday and today, probably Wednesday, yesterday and today were the first few days where things started to normalize, and we feel like we're kind of getting settled. But man, I'm so stoked to be in this new place. We're gonna make a lot of good videos. We're gonna have a lot of fun live streams in this new house, and hopefully I'm going to be here for a long time. So we're in the old place for 2 years. So I think we could at least push this place to hopefully 5 years minimum. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. But anyway, guys, what can we, how does this even go? I haven't even live streamed for so long. I don't even remember what the order of operations is. No, I do. I'm just joking. So guys, before we go any further, before I keep rambling, why don't we kick this thing off the best way we know how, with a quick cheers. So grab whatever it is you're sipping on. Okay. And here's to you guys. This one's a very special live stream. First one in the new house. I want to thank you guys for all of your support. Just all of your support over the years. I've now been, making videos here on YouTube coming up on 4 years. It would have been October 15th, 2020. Sorry, my best friend Bob's calling me. Bob, I mean, he's not watching, but Bob, if you are, for some odd reason, I'll call you back in a bit. But yeah, guys, it's been about 4 years, coming up on 4 years since I've started making videos, and I truly appreciate all the support from you guys over these last few years. It's been a wild ride, and I'm looking forward to doing this for a long, long time. But anyway, thank you guys so much. None of this would be possible without you. So here's to you, and also here's to the pursuit of that sweet, sweet cash flow, because that's really what's bringing us all together tonight. But also, well, not also, but more importantly, here's to you guys. Cheers. Let me know a few things here in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay. Number one, I want to hear, what did you buy this week? Which stocks did you add to your portfolio? I want to know about it here in the chat. What did you pick up? It's kind of slim pickings out there. I'm not really seeing, I mean, we got that nice Visa pullback this week, but Chevron's looking pretty decent, but I'm not seeing too many great options out there. LVMH had a crazy pop this week. Interesting. Very interesting. 11% climb just yesterday. So yeah, let me know what you picked up this week. Number two, I want to hear, what are you sipping on tonight? What did you bring to drink to the Dividend Happy Hour? Personally, I'm just sipping on a little Fresca. Love me some Fresca. This is one of my favorite sodas, and it's made by none other than Coca-Cola. So Shamir, this one's for you, man. I'm supporting your investment here. Love Fresca. But also number three, did anything cool happen to you guys this week? Any milestones in the portfolio? Maybe you bought your, well, I was going to say, maybe you bought your 100th share of SCHD. Big news from SCHD this week too. But maybe you bought your 100th share of SCHD, or maybe you got your biggest dividend payment ever. Anything cool that happened in your portfolio, I want to hear about it here in the live chat. I want to put that up on the screen and, shout out your guys' accomplishments. So, yeah, let me know those few things. And actually, I'm going to throw a fourth one in there. I'm probably going to start working this one in as well every single week. But I also want to know, how many first timers do we have here to the Dividend Happy Hour? How many of you guys for how many of you is this your first time tuning into the live stream? Let me know that here in the chat. And just in case this is your first time tuning into the Dividend Happy Hour, we do this every Friday night at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So unless there's some reason I'm incapacitated or I get arrested again, I'm trying to stop doing that. Or, I buy a house and have to move. Normal week, we're doing this Friday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And I'd love to see you guys all back. If this is your first time, yeah, hope you tune in next week and all of the weeks after that. So we have a lot of fun here. I say this every week, but this is the highlight, one of the highlights of my week. I always look forward to hopping on for this live stream. It's a lot of fun. And now let me quit rambling. Let me just hop over to the chat real quick. I want to see who we got in the building here. So let me scroll all the way up to the top, the tippy top. Where are we at here? So the first comment I see is from my man, Matt B. So what's up, Matt? I just sent you an email probably. I'm sure you read it already, probably about 30 minutes ago. Thanks for the email and thanks for tuning in. Shamizzle's in the bizzle as per usual. What's up, Shamir? We got Shannon here, survived the hurricane in Atlanta. Yeah, all of you guys who are affected by that, I've read I've caught a little bit of what's going on there. And yeah, it seems crazy. So all of you guys who are impacted by that, I hope you stay safe. Who else we got? We got Janice here, who's picking up a nice, crisp 2006 Mazda Miata. That's cool. We got Chris in the building. Jim's here. Excuse me. Anthony's here. Brian's here. Jorge. We got Wubs. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you, my friend. Dimitri's here. What's up, Dimitri? Let's see. Striper Kid's in the building. I don't know if I said what's up to Pat already. I think I did. Pat, what's up again? I'll give you a second shout out there. Who else we got? El Dynamico. What's up, Antonio? How are you doing? Congratulations on the house. Thank you, my friend. We got Oliver here. What do I think about the SCHD split? Pretty awesome. Yeah. I put out a quick video on it a couple days ago. I guess that would have been Wednesday night. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It really doesn't make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. I mean, you're getting 3 times as many shares, but each of those shares and the dividend payment per share is getting cut into a third. So it really all works out to be the same. The only difference is that you have a higher number of shares. So, but cool, I guess. I'll take it. Let's see. Korean Cardboard's here. What's going on, my friend? Dan Lee the Manly. Dan Weston in the building. Congrats on the new house. Welcome to the land of plumbing and electrical issues. I hope not, man. I hope not. We'll see what happens though. So we actually bought I can tell you guys a little bit more about it later if you're interested, but we actually bought a new construction in one of the DR Horton communities here in Las Vegas, which was a good experience, like overall a very good experience. And it was cool to go through that firsthand. They're one of the big home builders, really killer dividend growth stock. And so it was cool to get firsthand experience buying from them. And it really helped me develop a better understanding of how the company works. One thing that I was very surprised to learn, I didn't know this prior to buying the house, but I didn't realize how vertically integrated these home builders are. So not only do they build the homes, okay, but they also sell you the homes. And in addition to that, once they get you under contract, they have their own title company. So all the entire escrow process goes through DR Horton. They have, their own financing arm. So not only do they build the home and sell you the home, but they can also lend you the money to buy the home. And that was actually great. They give you some really good incentives to use their lender. They knocked probably a whole percentage point off the interest rate. So that's pretty good. We were able to lock in a 5.5% interest rate. Not too bad. But then what else? Title, I already mentioned that. Oh, and insurance. They also have pretty good home insurance as well. So very cheap home insurance and good policy too. Like my mom's an insurance agent. And when I looked at the price of the policy, the home insurance policy, I was like, what am I missing here? It just almost sounds too good to be true. So I had my mom look into it. She was like very, very impressed. Like, no, this is legit. So that made me feel good. But all in all, very good process. And they give you some really good incentives to do everything through them. And from start to finish, it was a really good experience. So very happy with it and really good to learn how these home builders work. So anyway, moving on, Lean Mean Dean Machine in the building. I actually miss Dean. He was just here in Vegas last week. Unfortunately, I miss Dean. I'll see you next time though, man. And I'm sorry once again that I wasn't able to get together with you, but I'm glad you got to go to Carlos and Charlie's. Dean stayed at the Flamingo, hit up that 2-for-1 margarita special there. So yeah, next time I'll definitely catch you. Anyway, Andrew's here. Oliver, I already said what's up to Oliver. Yeah, thank you guys. I see all the congratulations. Tommy's here. Hopefully you remember to pack Peanut. You know what? That was the one thing that we forgot. We had to go back and get him. No, I'm just kidding. He loves it here. He's a very easy cat to move. Just show him where his litter box is, show him where his food and water is, and he figures out the rest himself. So very easy. Yeah, thank you guys. I see all the congratulations. Sam, Phildo, Boaz checking in from work. Nice. In no way affiliated, sipping a ranch water. Nice. I like ranch water. That's good. Shamir, does Bob own a burger shop? No, he does not. That'd be good though. It's good to have friends who, can hook you up with some burgers. Uh-oh, my man Paco. Paco, I've been thinking about you, man. So Paco's my friend we used to live in the same apartment complex. Paco moved out right before I did, and I miss you, man. I was, like I said, I was thinking about you, and I owe you a FaceTime soon. So how's the gym going, man? Senor, how's the gym going, senor? Let's see. Korean Cardboard. So Ryan, was your dad the Sandberg fan? So in the video that I put out revealing the new house, I should just kind of, gave everyone a little tour of the war room, as I like to call it. And one of the things I have in here is my Ryan Sandberg card. I might have talked about this before. I may have not, or may not have, but I was named after Ryan Sandberg, who was the second baseman for the Chicago Cubs. And funny enough, no one in my family is like really big into baseball. And certainly not like a huge Cubs fan or a huge Ryan Sandberg fan or anything like that. But what happened and where the name came from, it was from him, but my mom, I think, was just flipping through some baseball cards that my dad had. And my dad's, not a huge baseball fan or anything like that. I think he likes it enough, but doesn't love it. But anyway, he had a card and my mom saw the name and just was like, yeah, that's the one. So that's how the story goes. So, let's see, keep going though. Christian's here, Tony, Mike, nieces and nephews, heading to Vegas soon. Any tips on what to do? Where are you staying first and foremost? Where are you staying? When are you coming? Because that can kind of make a difference a little bit. So let me know. Chuck's here. Yeah, so I see I'm now at the part in the chat with all the purchases. I see a lot of Visa, see some SCHD. McVeigh, shout out McVeigh. Let's see. Oh, Matt's drinking a stout. Nice. Very cool. I see some more Visa. Let's see. Chuck's here. What's up, Chuck? Craig's here. What's up, Craig? Good to see you, man. Let's see. Looks like Jim picked up some Union Pacific. Yeah, Matt said he's trying to get to his 100th share of SCHD by the end of the year. There you go. Daylon is me. Are you still reviewing profiles? Yeah, I am. So I do that every month. I put the most recent one out sometime last week, I think. Maybe it was like last Wednesday or last Sunday or something like that. But yeah, if you go check out my most recent portfolio review video, like I said, it was from 10 days ago, maybe. In the pinned comment and in the description, there's a link to submit your portfolio to be reviewed if you haven't done so already. So, yeah. And just so you guys know too, like it's pretty much chosen at random which ones get reviewed. So, I apologize if I haven't gotten around to yours yet. I'm going to be doing this for a long, long time. So I'll get around to it eventually. So, let's see. Yeah, I see some more SCHD. Moonshine. This is cool. Waiting on my daughter to be born. That's my whole week. Well, congratulations. That's exciting. Hopefully next week you'll come back and give us some good news. So there we go. Striper Kid. I hit an all-time high with Tesla. There we go. Tommy bought some LVMH. I see some more Visa here. Let's see. Okay. Versite, first time here. Started my investing journey a couple months ago with SCHD. There's already a split. I'm quite optimistic of the future. Cool. Nice. Well, congratulations on getting started. Wow, Don, look at this, guys. Bought my 983rd share of SCHD. That is insane. That's crazy. But it looks like we had a lot of first timers here. It's Judith's first time, LT, Connor, Dimitri first time. Yeah, happy to join. Happy to have you. Yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in to the live stream. It's pretty much, I mean, as you can tell so far, there's no rhyme or reason to this. It's just hopping on and seeing where it goes. So, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun doing this. So, yeah, Cameron's back after. Good to finally be back live. It's been forever since I've been able to tune in. Nice. Yeah, welcome to all the first timers. Welcome. Yeah, Shamir, I know, man. Peanut can't keep bailing you out of jail, cutting into his chain smoking and gambling budget. I know. I know, man. What are you going to do? Let's keep going, though. Don from Maine joining for the third time. Nice. Alex, let's go SCHD. Good to see you. There we go. Pat started a new position in AbbVie. Cool. Let's see. Bus TV. Good to see you online. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, Dresh. I didn't think I'd get to 1,000 shares of SCHD so soon. I know. So I mentioned this in the video that I put out, the SCHD video. But so my goal by the end of the year was to hit 100 shares, and just from the split, I'll be at 276 or so post split. Actually, probably more like 280 because I'll buy another share or two before the split goes into effect. But so anyway, that surpasses the goal. So now we have to adjust the goal for the split. So now instead of 100 shares by the end of the year, we got to get to 300. But we'll get there, guys. We'll get there. If each share is now only going to be, like $27 or so, just based on the current share price, it'll be easy to do. Super easy. We might even be able to get to like 350, somewhere between 315 and 330 shares by the end of the year, I would guess. Carlos, Ryan, what do you think? This is a good question. What do you think about what's going on with Visa, and does it make you look over to MasterCard? No, it doesn't make me look over to MasterCard. And I don't know. It was probably, I feel like we've heard whispers about maybe something like this happening with Visa for quite some time. So I wasn't entirely surprised to see the news. And the thing about Visa, I mean, I know they've already set aside like $1.5 billion to go to legal fees for this, but and there will probably be some sort of settlement. But I don't think it'll be anything crazy beyond that. And Visa's printing money, like they're just a money printing company in effect, and they'll be just fine. So no, this doesn't really concern me for the future of Visa. I don't know. I'm one thing that I'm still thinking through, and I actually would be curious to get your guys's take on this in the chat. Is this isn't going to be the right word, but not the ethics, but like does this type of lawsuit make sense? Even make sense? I mean, or are they just punishing Visa for being, too successful? I mean, I don't know. But then at the same time, Capital One, didn't they try to block Capital One and Discover from coming together? And maybe they officially did. I don't remember how that all played out. So anyway, and if that happened, if I'm remembering correctly, then I think that goes against what they're basically suing Visa for, which is anti-competitive, monopolistic, business practices. So yeah, I don't know. I still think there's plenty of competition. I mean, there's Amex, there's MasterCard, there's Discover, there's Capital One. I mean, even internationally, there's still plenty of other payment processing networks. But yeah, none of them are as big as Visa, I suppose. Well, it is true. I mean, Visa has the highest payment volume out of all of them, MasterCard coming in second. But I don't know. There's still plenty of, I don't know. It's interesting to me. Maybe, I don't know. Let me know your guys' thought in the chat. I'm going to keep rambling. I'm curious to see what you guys think about it. So, Sir Dudebro, man, what's going on? Bob Wright in the building. Long ditching the $1 and looking forward to my 4 quarters. There you go, man. There you go. Be still. Did you pack the treadmill? Yes, the treadmill is in there, in the closet there. And I also got my keyboard right there, my little piano keyboard. That's cool. I haven't played that for years. So cool to have that here. Ex-Dividend dad in the building. What's going on? Let's see. There we go. TF, I can officially say I crossed 100K invested total in all my different investment accounts. Was giving myself a 5% differential before announcing it. I'm also trying to buy a house, but waiting. Nice. Very nice. Hey, Sam. Jim, good question. Do you have to find a new gym since you moved out of the apartment? So yeah, I've had a, I typically would just go to my apartment gym, which I will miss very much. But even with that, I always had a membership to a chain of gyms here called EOS Fitness. And I could be wrong on this, but I think Gold's Gym, all of the EOS Fitnesses here used to be Gold's Gym. And I think they're all owned by the same company. But yeah, I always had a membership at EOS. It was like $10 a month. And so I'll just start going there now. I've already gone there a few times. And I actually really love it. The one by my apartment that I would go to was always crowded. It was not fun to go to. Like it was way too crowded. Just madness. This one though, totally different. It not only is the gym bigger, but there's just not as many people. And it's like, I haven't had to wait for anything yet. There's like, I went this morning, all of the bench presses were open. It was the same thing yesterday too. No one was using them. So, yeah, this will be a much better experience. And I think I'm excited to actually go there. So anyway, so Oliver, I'd like to share my portfolio. How exactly do I show you it? So if this is for the portfolio reviews, there's instructions on how to submit your portfolio to be reviewed there. If you just want to show me your portfolio just for fun and don't want it to be reviewed, you can always just email me. But yeah, if it's for the portfolio review video, go check out the most recent one and click the link in the pinned comment or in the description to be taken to where you submit your portfolio. It will explain exactly how to do it there. So, nice. This is cool. Tammy said, I bought a little condo in cash this year. That's awesome. Being mortgage free is sweet. Oh, I can imagine. Good for you. That's awesome. I would love to get rid of the mortgage on this one already. It's not bad. It's actually very comparable to what we were paying. Overall, the monthly expense is very comparable to what we were paying in the apartment. So, yes, this is a good question. So, Tony, do you have a video covering your top individual stock holdings? I do. In fact, I posted it a couple weeks ago, maybe. So yeah, head over to the channel. There's a recent video of mine called like my top 5 largest dividend stock investments or something like that. So I go through my top 5 positions. The largest of which is SCHD. Yeah. So another company that came to mind, to your point here, Matt, was Apple. It's like, they don't have a monopoly essentially on phones. I actually don't know the percentage of iPhone users versus non-iPhone users, but it's like, I would imagine Apple, we could probably Google this. Let me see. iPhone users versus Android users. So, oh no, I was wrong actually. So let's go over here. Here, let me put this up. So I thought for sure, there we go. You can see that. Okay. So global. Okay. So it's a little bit different globally versus the US. So globally, Android has a 71% market share. So Android is cornering the market around the world, with iPhone making up the remaining near 30%. In the US, it's a different story though. iPhones make up almost 60% market share, with Android coming in about 41%. So I don't know. Like, at what point does the DOJ look at these and say, okay, this is getting too monopolistic? Is it at what percentage, like here in the US, for example, at what percentage do they look at Apple and say, you too many people are using your phones? I don't know. The guitar. The guitar I still need to get. It's at the apartment. So, Darth, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah. So, Jeff, what is the SHD dividend per share after the split going to be? Does anyone know? Yeah, it should be around per share. I think it'll be around 25 cents because I think it's about 75 cents right now. That's, quarterly. I think it'll be around there. Paul, are you planning to start the walk to 100s in November? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. To be honest with you, it was not fun having that setup here with it just wasn't fun it wasn't fun for me to do that. I'm not going to lie. So prior to me going live with the walk to 100s, I would probably be on the treadmill for like 45 minutes or so. And I truth be told, I just don't know that I have an interest in doing that again. I would not be opposed to starting another live stream series. Like I've thought about maybe bringing back Market Mondays or something like that. And I've gotten requests about this too, to do that. That was an old video series that I had when I first started my channel where I would just every Monday I would make a video showing which stocks I was buying and updating the portfolio and stuff like that. So I think that would be fun to bring back. But now I think as far as making videos, I'm not going to include the treadmill at all. I think it's just so much easier to set up and for me to maintain just sitting here, talking to the camera. I'm just going to leave it there. So let's see. What is your opinion on what portion of a healthy dividend portfolio is comprised of REITs? I have a 403B and IRA that I max out, but I have a goal of $1,500 a month in dividends per month in dividends. So that's a good question. I would say if you want to build like a well-balanced portfolio, if that's your goal, well, that's one of your goals. If that's one of your goals, I wouldn't let REITs become too large a percentage of the portfolio. I don't know. I can't give you an exact number because I don't really know. But like, for example, if we take a look at my portfolio here, let me take this off the screen. I'll show you how much I feel like I have a heavy weighting to REITs right now. And this does not include ETFs, by the way. So real estate makes up about 22% of the total portfolio. And I think for me, that's like, I probably wouldn't want to go too much higher than this. Now you have a 403B and an IRA that you max out. I don't know if it's a Roth or not, but with that, it could make, if it's a Roth, then it could, you could get away with having more in REITs because you don't have to worry about the dividend taxation. But even so, I don't personally think the REIT taxation is too bad. Like I have not had it really, at least not yet. It really hasn't impacted me in a noticeable way, having REITs in my taxable account, or in BDCs as well, ordinary dividends in general. But I would say if your goal is to have, I'd love to have $1,500 coming in from dividends too. And I'm working to get there as quick as I can, but I also would not load up your portfolio with super high yielding stocks just to hit that goal as fast as you can. I don't think that's a good long-term way to reach that goal. You'll get there eventually, but I wouldn't load up with super high yielding stocks just to hit that 1.5K per month. I think you need to be a bit more balanced there. So I don't know. That's a tough question to answer because I don't want to I don't want to prescribe like a certain percentage of your portfolio, but that's how I would probably look at it if I was you. You know, what percentage of your portfolio do you feel comfortable having in REITs? Okay. So this is a really good question, actually. So TF said, would you recommend buying a house now or waiting? I know you just bought a house, so congrats. Me and my wife have been saving for years. Yeah, you have about 100K for a house, but you're too afraid. That's awesome. That's great. So here was my mindset going into it. So I wasn't too concerned about the home not appreciating. I feel pretty confident that that will happen, especially if we're going to be here for a number of years. And so in looking at it, for me, it was all about the monthly expenses. I'm okay. I have had money in was saving to have money set aside for a down payment on a home. So that's what that money was for. And going into this, for both of us, we didn't want our monthly expenses to be much higher, if any higher, than what we were spending renting. I just didn't want to, you know, be out an arm and a leg just to every single month just to buy a home. So for us, like the monthly expenses are very comparable between renting and owning. And so if it's the same in that regard, then I feel like, you know, if we're gonna put out that money every single month anyway, it's probably better to put it into a home, somewhere that we own, where we can actually build equity over time instead of renting, where we're not building equity. So that's kind of my thought process around it. I think if it's similar to stocks, I guess, in some capacity. Like if you're waiting for the right time, you're always going to be waiting for a better time than it is now. So I would say if it works for your current situation and you find a place that's fitting for you guys, then yeah, why not? That's a good question. So Sam says, what was the reason you sold Coca-Cola? So Coca-Cola was a stalwart in my portfolio. Obviously a very safe hold, akin to like a Johnson & Johnson or Procter & Gamble or something along those lines. I sold Coca-Cola because I thought that money would be better used elsewhere. And I ended up reinvesting my Coca-Cola money into VICI properties. I ended up starting that VICI position like right around 20. What's my average cost actually with VICI? Let's go check it out. I think my average cost now is 28 and some change, maybe. No, even lower actually, 27.90. So for me, like VICI was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. I'd been wanting to add this stock to my portfolio on and off for a long time, and it just got to the point where I knew I needed to have it. And so I ended up selling Coca-Cola just because I thought there was a better place for that money. And so far that's paid off. You know, so far I'm up, if we go look at I haven't even received my first dividend with it yet, but so far I'm up almost 20%, and it's only been a couple months or a few months. And if we look at the sold positions here, where's Coca-Cola? So Coca-Cola, and you know, Coca-Cola's done pretty stinking well since I sold out of it too, actually. So that's seen about a 20% gain as well. Or no. This is my average cost. This is where I sold. So I saw a nice gain. I saw a 20% gain. But still from there, it's up a little bit more. So I think that money still, just looking at the current price compared to my sale price, I think I made more money if I'm doing the math right in my head. I made more money putting that into VICI and also, you know, locking in a higher yield with higher dividend growth. So overall, I mean, VICI, I think it was a good move doing this. And I ended up doing the same thing with Southern Company. So I sold out of both of these positions to put into VICI. Southern Company's had a nice run too, since I ended up selling out of it. But, you know, still pretty happy with the returns that I saw from both of these positions, 34.5% with Coca-Cola, 43.7% with Southern Company. And, yeah, I'm stoked to have it in VICI. But VICI, guys, VICI just ran up way too quick. VICI. So anyway. Okay. Let's keep going. Paco, man, I thought, and I'm like 7 minutes behind in the chat, but Paco, man, I know you were in Mexico, but I thought you were home already. I thought your dad told me that you were going to be back like mid-September. But yeah, Paco, if you're home, what gym are you going to now? Are you going to LV Fit? What are you doing? Let's see. Oh, Guy. I guess I'm not too far behind. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. But Guy says, would you invest weekly in dividend stocks or ETFs, or save in a 4.5% high yield savings for a while in order to buy a lot of shares on a dip? This is a great question. This is a great question. So, long story short, I think both. I think you could and should do both. I am not good about doing both. I like the idea of building up a cash position just to have ready to go, set aside specifically for dips in the market, for buying opportunities and stuff like that. I really like the idea of doing that. I've not been good about actually doing it. Maybe in time that will change. But you know what, too? Like, a lot of my extra cash had been going towards saving for this down payment and house stuff and whatever, which I was keeping in a high yield savings account. So maybe now with this behind me, I can maybe start doing that. But yeah, I think both is great. I would probably emphasize, if I would probably emphasize just, putting that into equities, just getting it invested, getting it into the market. But, if you wanted to set aside a small percentage of money in a high yield savings account for dips and stuff like that, then I think that's a pretty good balance there. So, like, you could do 75% into equities, 75% in your, or 25% in your high yield savings account, or something like that. You could do 70-30, 60-40, whatever. But I think having a balance between those two is probably a smart idea. So, and you're still able to get a good return on your cash if you have it in the high yield savings account. So, the bad spy, what is going on? I just see you popped here in the chat, and I'm actually caught up here in the chat. Okay. Sam says, yeah, I'm thinking to simplify my portfolio, and as I'm older, was thinking to sell out of some slower growth ones and move that into faster growth / higher dividend ones. Yeah, that makes sense. And the thing with the positions that I sold out of recently, Apple was another one of them. None of them are bad companies. Obviously, Apple's great. Coca-Cola has been, like I said, a stalwart Southern company, very reliable, sleep well at night utility company. So none of them are bad, but I just felt that I had better opportunities out there. Like Apple, I had a 70.3% total return when I sold Apple, rolled that into Visa. I feel really good about that. Love me some Visa. You guys know that. It's the gold standard. Visa is the gold standard. So I'm really happy about that. And I don't know, that's opportunity cost, and yeah, I think it's good to do that. We talk about stocks, and we talk about it in terms of buying them and holding them forever, but I think the longer that you do this, and the idea of holding forever sounds good, but I also think it's important to just take inventory and know when you've kind of run your course with a certain position, and if you have a better place to put it, then it's okay. So that's not to say that you should frequently trade in and out of positions. But I think if you've held on to one for a handful of years at least, and like I had with all of these, except for Apple, that was maybe a year and a half that I held it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good to rebalance and switch things up every so often. So anyway, Kevin Burgess, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the kind words and the congratulations. That means a lot. Thanks, Christian Erickson. That's funny. All right. Carlos, any thoughts on Meta? I don't have any serious thoughts on Meta. I mean, obviously they just recently started paying a dividend. let's take a look at them. We'll take a look a little bit into Meta. So guys, we're going to jump over to Snapstock real quick, bust it out for the first time tonight. And let's see what's going on with Meta. $567 per share. Wow. Wowee. So we're doing a little work on this right now. So some of these numbers are not going to be correct. I mean, yeah, some of them aren't going to be. But the dividend yield, it's it's obviously not a high yielding stock at all. But that dividend is clearly very well covered. They're not at risk of cutting their dividend at all. And here's what I think could be good about owning Meta as a dividend investor. I mean, looking at these growth metrics, I mean, the revenue is growing, obviously, earnings is growing, free cash flow is growing very, very fast. Okay, revenue 18% in the last 5 years on average. Earnings per share 33% over the last 5 years. Free cash flow per share 42.6% CAGR in the 5-year. So that all bodes very well for the dividend. I mean, if they, long story short, this company has all the makings to be a great dividend growth stock. So, and I think they will be, also very high margins, very high gross margins. The only time it dipped below 80% was 2022. Pretty decent net income margins. There's, been some ups and downs, but for the most part, pretty stable. Same with the free cash flow margins, pretty stable overall, I'd say. Very little debt. In the trailing 12 months, they just have a little bit of net debt. So not bad. And then in 2023, they had negative net debt. So, don't have to worry about them going bankrupt or anything like that. Yeah. So, and very high returns on invested capital too, like consistently over 20%. So like I said, overall, I think Meta has all the makings to be a great dividend growth stock. The big question with it is, what's the valuation looking like? And if we look at the free cash flow yield, PE ratio is not bad, 27.8 or basically 28. Price free cash flow is actually higher. These are both above the 5-year average. So that is something to take into consideration. But this is a very growthy company. This might not be a terrible PE ratio. The free cash flow yield, let's call it 3.5. That's not bad either. If we're following Terry Smith's way of looking at the free cash flow yield, he tries to buy a stock when the free cash flow yield is at least 1% above the expected rate of inflation. And I looked earlier, actually, according to, where was it? Expected rate of inflation here. Right here. So the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland has the 10-year expected inflation rate at 2.12%. So based on Terry Smith's rule of thumb, we'd want to buy a stock when the free cash flow yield is 3.12% or above. And if we're following that, then it's not too bad. It's in buying range based on that. What's Visa's actually? Let's look at Visa's. Let's look at Google's. And I know they're different companies, but Visa's right in line with that too. So similar valuations based on the free cash flow yield. Google free cash flow yield, we got 3, so it's a bit lower. So there's that. What's Adobe's, just for fun? I know they're not a dividend payer, but still kind of interested to see. 2.84. So, Meta doesn't have a bad free cash flow yield compared to some of these other companies. So, yeah, Rob says, any thoughts on the LVMUY run up? Crazy, very crazy jump. This is one that I'm pretty interested in owning. I think this is it's a great looking company. Obviously, it's a pretty easy one to understand as well. So that's definitely good. I think it's probably still a fine time to buy it, even after the recent jump. It's probably still fine. The thing that's keeping me on the fence with LVMH, pretty much the big thing, is just not wanting to buy an international company. I mean, it's based out of France. You have to buy here in the US, if you're buying LVMUY, it's the ADR, right? That's the American Depository Receipt. So it's not actually buying. I don't 100% understand how this works, but it's different than buying like Visa, which is based here in the US. You buy a share of Visa, you actually own the company. When you buy an ADR, it's through a bank. So like the bank, you basically buy a certificate through the bank. It's similar, but it's not quite the same. And you also have to deal with the French government, which can complicate things. So I don't know, that it's stuff like that that I don't that's keeping me on the fence. But I do think it's a really good company. Yeah, this is tough. So Oliver says, "What do you think about Costco? I kind of really want to get it, but want to wait for a better buying opportunity." Let's look. So let's take a look at Costco's free cash flow yield. Actually, I I personally would not be buying Costco at current prices. Well, I mean, that's a very low free cash flow yield. So you're not getting a lot of cash flow for the price you pay, and you can tell that from the price to free cash flow too. So for every basically you're paying about $53 for every dollar of free cash flow this company generates. So it's not great. What's Kroger's? Let's look at Kroger's. Let's look at Walmart. Let's look at Target. So what was that? 53, 54. So much better valuation here. And look at that free cash flow yield, 12.24. That's very, very high. And this dividend's very well covered to a 40% payout ratio, 17% free cash flow payout ratio. That's great. And this is a dividend growth behemoth. So I think just based on dividend stats alone, Kroger's looking great. Very steady margins. Yeah. Interest, like very solid interest coverage and debt coverage too. Yields higher than average. So this could be a good one to consider. And look at this dividend growth history over the last few years. I mean, this is a dividend growth monster, guys. This is one of those companies where the dividend growth is just accelerating. It's not slowing down. It's not, flatlining. This dividend growth is getting better with time. Okay, look at that slope right there. That's beautiful. That is a work of art. Pure class from Kroger, pure class. But with that, though, to be fair, the payout ratio is going up. So that would be something to keep an eye on here. The earnings payout ratio, the free cash flow payout ratio has been pretty steady, except for 2022. But even so, in 2022, it was only 55%. So that's Kroger. Walmart. So Costco's free cash flow yield was 1.89, 54 price to free cash flow or something like that. Walmart, not much better. Okay, Walmart's very similar metrics here. Target, I bet Target's going to be looking better than Walmart and Costco as far as valuation. Yeah, so much better. 13.6% price to free cash flow, 7.4% free cash flow yield. So that's better. But out of all of these, it looks like Kroger has the best relative valuation. Walmart's dividend stats aren't that great either. Beast of a company, but and Target's dividend stats are looking good too. A near 3% yield, 14% dividend growth CAGR, and they are a dividend king. So, yeah. All right. Can you look at Apple's? Yeah, let's take a look at Apple. My bad. I should have done that earlier when we were looking at Meta. I should have looked at Microsoft and Apple. So yeah, Apple here. So not bad. 3%, 33.2 price to free cash flow. Quite a bit above the 5-year average. Same with the PE ratio. Free cash flow yield is quite a bit below the 5-year average, but it's had a run up, Recently, it wasn't too bad. At the end of 2023, it was 3.7 for the free cash flow yield. 2022, 4.5 or 4.6. So, and it just looks like this is getting more expensive over time. And because the price of free cash flow and the free cash flow yield are basically the inverse of one another, you'll always see this trend here where the price to free cash flow goes up, you'll always see the free cash flow yield go down. So just a quick little tidbit for you. Yeah, this is what Apple's looking like though. They have more, I would say they have more free cash flow than they do debt. So that's good. That is good. Dividend growth has really been slowing down with Apple, though. And then let's look at Microsoft real quick. Yeah, and if there's any other companies you guys want me to look up on here, just throw them in the chat and we'll pop them up. We got about 10 minutes left in the stream, but we'll check it out. So Microsoft's looking a bit more pricey than Apple. Meta still seems to be the best out of all of them, right? So free cash flow yield's 2.3, price to free cash flow is 43. Okay. Anyway, let's see what else you guys got. Professor Joe, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the kind words, and good to see you here in the live stream. Jeff, is that the new stock screener thing you've been working on? Yes, sir, it is. It is, and we should. I'll be releasing Snapstock on October 6th. That is the release date. So if you guys want to be one of the first users, we're only opening it up at first to like 100 people. We're just going to do a 100-person test group right off the bat, just to work out any kinks. Take that time to get feedback, improve whatever bugs are present upon the initial launch, implement some more features, and once we kind of get those things dialed in, we'll release it to more people. But yeah, we're capping it at the first 100 people to sign up for the test group. And if you want to be one of those 100 people, if you just go to retirewithryan.com/the-investment-club, it will take you to this page where you can join the waitlist. Or if you just go to retirewithryan.com/snapstock, it will take you to this page right here. Click that button. It will redirect you to the investment club page where you can join the waitlist. So, but with that, upon joining the waitlist, you'll also get access to the Investor's Almanac. You guys have seen me talk about that quite a bit. This is what I use to do all my stock research, my book notes, other investment writing, and stuff like that. So you'll get a templated version of this that you can use for yourself. And you'll also get a copy of my own Investor's Almanac. So you'll see all my stock research, all of my book notes, all of my other writings. I've been going through the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder letters, so all of my notes for that are in there. And this is something that I'll be adding to continually over time. I'm typically writing and adding stuff to this every day or every couple of days. Stock research, it's less frequent. It's maybe once a month or so. And I've not been good about that lately just because I've been so inundated with moving and building this. But once the dust kind of settles and we officially launch, I've already got like a list of stocks that I need to do some deep research on. So I'll be getting back to it there. But yeah, you'll get access to all of this by joining the investment club. So if you just click this button, you can join the wait list. And yeah, I'd love it if you guys checked it out. And if you have any questions, let me know too. I'm happy to answer them. So let's see. What about HRB? Oh, I see, Sir Dude Bro Man, you want Broadcom. I'll come back to that in a sec. And I see Striper Kids talking about Tractor Supply. I really like Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply is a killer company. So H&R Block, let's take a look at it. Also, I want to share a company with you guys. Gosh, so little time. So here's H&R Block. Nice free cash flow yield, 7.6%. Decent price free cash flow, 13. The dividend stats are okay. Like, this doesn't really jump out at me, to be honest. I mean, 2.1% with a 4.4% yield or dividend growth rate, excuse me. So I don't know. But, look at that performance. That's been really solid, 51% in the last year. Revenue, interesting. The revenue growth hasn't been, I mean, it's kind of seems pretty stagnant. It's growing slowly, over the last 5 years, 4%, 10 years only growing by 2% on average. 2020, this is throwing these numbers off here, unfortunately. But overall, the earnings trend looks really, goodness gracious, I'm sorry. The earnings per share trend looks really good. The free cash flow per share trend looks really good as well. So that's great. Looks like the gross profits are going up. That's really good to see. Especially, I mean, these recent years, it really jumped, going from 46% to over 60%. So that's great. I'd have to look more into this to see what's going on here. That could be a bit concerning. You definitely don't want to see negative earnings. And usually it has the trailing 12-month numbers here as well. But like I said, we're doing a little bit of work to snap stock right now. And I know the numbers were going to be kind of screwed up today. So I apologize for that. Free cash flow margin's pretty steady as well, except for 2020, but whatever. Debt situation looks pretty good. Net debt to free cash flow is only 1.26, not bad. But yeah, I mean, the dividend growth doesn't really jump out at me. And with I mean, the 5-year average yield is pretty good, 4.1%. But right now, just because it's run up so much in share price, that yield is not anything to write home about. And with a yield like this, I would want to see a higher dividend growth rate. It's not everything, but that is something that I would like to see. They're doing a good job of buying back shares, though, so that's good. Very low payout ratio, both earnings and free cash flow payout ratio, so that's good. HRB looks okay. Let's go look at Broadcom real quick. I don't know if we'll have time to get a Tractor Supply tonight, but that company's a beast. And I don't know if Dan is still in the chat, but I know he really likes Tractor Supply. But yeah, Tractor Supply is a very unique company, very unique. So, okay. Anyway, let's go through this real quick. So Broadcom's a bit pricey right now, it looks like. Very high price to free cash flow, very low free cash flow yield. And both of them are all of these are pretty far off from their averages. So not in a good way either. Yeah, yield is obviously quite a bit lower than the average. But these are not bad dividend stats. 1.2% yield. If you're going to be buying that, you want to see that double-digit growth rate. So that's at least good. The earnings payout ratio says is 181.25. I don't know. That can't be right. That doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't sound right to me. No. So I don't know why it's saying that here. Just some of the numbers are wonky right now. Like I said, earnings payout ratio still seems fine. 2019 and 2020 were rough years, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. Free cash flow payout ratio. Did I say yield? If I said yield, I'm sorry. I meant the payout ratio. Free cash flow payout ratio is looking really good as well. So yeah, overall Broadcom's, not crazy debt either. 1.42 looking at the net debt to free cash flow. So that's good. So yeah, Broadcom's looking okay, but there was one company that I wanted to share with you guys before we wrap it up. I might. There it is. I couldn't remember the ticker symbol off the top of my head, but this company is Verisk Analytics. And in a nutshell, what this company does, I'll actually pull this up here. So I found out about this company somewhat recently, but they provide data solutions. Basically, they provide data and risk management data for insurance companies. So if insurance companies, during their underwriting process, they will look at a ton of data, look at a ton of metrics, and that data, which helps them analyze risks for the people or the companies or the situation they're trying to insure, that data comes from this company here, Verisk. I don't know exactly how you pronounce it, VRSK. But I thought this was a really interesting company. And I thought for someone like myself who doesn't really understand how to look at insurance companies and how to analyze them, something like this might be a good way to get exposure to the insurance industry without actually directly buying an insurance company. And there's a lot to like about this one from what I've seen. I mean, the valuation's not great. Okay, this looks, high price free cash flow, low free cash flow yield. So it's not the right time to buy it from the looks of it. But low yielding stock though, that's another thing. 0.6% yield, 8% dividend growth rate on average. And I don't know if you guys heard that, but my dryer just went off. So yeah, the valuation's not the greatest, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, really solid revenue growth, pretty decent earnings growth, and really nice free cash flow growth. So that's looking pretty good. Margins are slowly increasing, looking at the gross margin. So it's getting up there close to 70%. Net income margin's pretty steady. Free cash flow margin is going up over time. So I thought that was looking good. Debt still looks to be fine. 3.36, looking at the net debt to free cash flow. Interest coverage, 10, totally fine there. Yeah, but the dividend growth, I guess, could be better considering how low the yield is. I will admit that, but I thought this looked like an interesting company. So this is one that I put on my watch list recently, and I'll be keeping an eye on it. But I thought I'd share that with you guys because I thought it seemed interesting. So anyway, let me get caught up here in the chat. So one thing, I did see this comment from Korean Cardboard looking at ARCC. So let me tell you, let me just show you this real quick. We can look at ARCC, but admittedly, Snapstock is not going to work yet. It's not going to be great for a company like Ares Capital yet. Really, Snapstock right now really only works, is fully functional with what we'll call like normal companies, which basically it excludes ETFs, it excludes business development companies, it excludes REITs. It pretty much just works for companies like the Broadcoms or Procter and Gamble or Coca-Cola, kind of quote unquote normal companies, if you know what I mean. So it might be a little wonky looking at a company like Ares Capital. I mean, you can look at the revenue, you can look at the earnings. I guess that's okay. But there's some metrics that are specific to BDCs that are not here in Snapstock. So it's not going to give you, truthfully, it's not going to be the best place to analyze a company like ARCC yet. We're working on that. Next step though is adding functionality for REITs. We're actually working on that right now, and that will be coming out soon. But so yeah, if you search like Realty Income or VICI Properties or something like that, pretty soon it will load like REIT specific metrics like the FFO, and we're working on getting like the debt payment schedule and stuff like that. So anyway, work in progress. Okay, so let me get caught up here in the chat. I apologize if I jump over some of these comments here, but it's about time to wrap it up. What are your thoughts on CVS? Not really interested in it. So sorry, like I said, I'm not going to jump into, if I keep jumping into stocks, I'm going to be here. You guys know how I get. I'll be here all night doing this, but you know what? Screw it. Let's look at it. Let's look at CVS. We'll wrap it up with that. Okay. So CVS, this will be the last one. Then we'll call it a night, guys. Okay. Nice free cash flow yield. Nice. Near 10% earnings yield. But the free cash flow yield's quite a bit lower than the average. Interesting. Yeah. Dividend stats are okay. 4.25% yield. So you're getting that high yield with that moderate 5% dividend growth CAGR. Yeah, it looks like the PE ratio is a little bit above the 5-year average. Maybe their earnings dipped. Maybe not. I don't know what the trailing 12 months look like. Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see this. I thought that their revenue would have been a bit more stagnant, but that's actually some pretty decent revenue growth. Earnings per share hasn't been bad. That's not bad. I mean, it's got a couple ups and downs, 2018 and 2022. Free cash flow per share actually has seen some decent growth as well. I mean, these last couple of years have been tough, but so this would be something I'd keep an eye on just to see if maybe it recovers from here. But yeah, that's not bad. Margins seem to be going down. Since 2020, the gross margins have continued to go down. So this is something I would keep an eye on as well. Same thing with the net income margin here. And I guess free cash flow since 2021. Debt situation. So this is going to have the highest net debt to free cash flow that we've seen so far. And as a general rule of thumb, for like a normal company like this one, I would want to see a net debt to free cash flow of like 5 or less, which means that if they just dedicated all of their free cash flow to paying off the net debt, which, subtracts from total debt, basically the cash and liquid assets. So they'd have to basically put all their cash into the total debt, and then they'd still have to use their free cash flow to pay down the remaining debt. It would take them almost 7 years to do so. So that's a little bit high. Not the end of the world, but something to keep an eye on. And I'm sure they have a lot of. I'm sure most of this is long-term debt. Probably a lot of capital leases as well, which gets added to debt here. So it could not be as bad as it looks just from this. You'd have to look deeper into it. Yeah, it doesn't look like there was any dividend growth in here. Since then, it's not been bad, I suppose. 10% in both of these years, if this is right. So it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know that I just don't know that I see the draw to owning CVS. For me personally, there are companies out there I'd rather own, but I will admit, like, the growth here is not as stagnant as I was expecting it to be. So anyway, yes, guys, I think this is a good place. I should look at Rollins. Gosh, or Rollins. Chris, man, you're pushing the right buttons. You're pushing all the right buttons. Alan, is there a way to get access to Snap stock? So I talked about it a few minutes ago here in the stream, but if you want to, Snap stock's not released yet. It's going to be out October 6th. So pretty close, a week and a half. If you want to, and we're only opening it up to the first 100 people. It's just going to be a test group at first. We'll roll it out to everyone and anyone and everyone eventually, but right off the bat, just first 100 people to sign up. We're going to lock it, close it up after that. Just keep it those first 100 people, work out the kinks, implement some new features, probably roll it out to another group of people. But if you want to be one of the first 100 users, one of the founding members of Snapstock, you can go to this website right here, retirewithryan.com/snapstock. And it will take you to this page right here with some more information. It even has like a walkthrough demonstration video on how to use Snapstock here. But yeah, just go to this webpage and it will show you how to sign up for the waitlist to be one of the first users if you want to. So anyway, guys, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. But guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me this last hour and 10 minutes. It was fun. It's good to be back. Good to be back in the saddle, as they say. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys. Once again, thank you so much for all of the support, not only tonight, not only with the Dividend Happy Hour, but just across the channel and across these last few years, being able to buy a home and, being able to, this is my job. So being able to do this as a job is only possible because you guys just keep tuning in to listen to my gibberish. I don't know why you do it, but I appreciate it. And what a ride, guys. What a ride. But anyway, thank you guys all once again for tuning into another very fun Dividend Happy Hour. This was a blast. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Tune into Sunday's video. It's going to be my monthly dividend income video. That's always a fun one. So tune into that. Thank you guys all again so much. I appreciate you all. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.